Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today I thought we would have a look at the authentic decals. It looks like we have a new batch of them for the next month, which is pretty cool, so we'll definitely have a look at them. Also, just to let you know that there are Steam sales going on right now. I don't really recommend buying anything off Steam. I'll do a separate video about them later on, but just to tell you that they're there and that they are kicking. So, let's get into the authentic decals. If you want to find them, you can go here and then week's latest. And if you want to add them to your favorited achievement thing, you can just check the untracked track progress. If this is set like this, then it will be over here. Unfortunately, you can't track the progress of ones you already have, and since they brought back some old ones, such as these ones, I can't kind of show you how to get them with different vehicles, so we'll just go through them first of all, just to get them out the way. The first one is the skeleton hand emblem from the Luftwaffe 1944, and it's just 50 kills. You have to do it in air vehicles hitting ground vehicles. So there's a ton of really good vehicles which are good for this. You know, there's especially at mid tiers. Remember, you just have to do them rank 2 and above, and that's basically how all of these go. So doing them rank 2 and 3 is completely fine to do. Stuff such as, of course, the Do 335B2, if you have that, is incredibly good at killing ground targets, even stuff like the HE219. But if you want to go into the tech tree, you have stuff like the H16 that you can have a bit of fun with the big old 2500, which is quite fun. A lot of BF109s nowadays actually do have secondary weapons, especially 250 kilos or 450s, which drop independently. So if you're against a bunch of vehicles which are open-topped, you can actually overpressure them, which is really nice. Obviously, the ME410s, the B6R3 is always fun with its MK103s that it has, very deadly against vehicles, and of course the standard DOs as well with their MK103s in the tech trees and also bombs. The Horton's really nice for this as well. Once again, MK103s, and of course the Polka Storer, just for a bit of fun. Arados get independent bomb drops now, so you can basically get 3 guaranteed kills if you place the bombs well, so those are something to go for. And also the JU-188 has a really weird bomb load, but it works really well for ground forces, because you have larger bombs, then you have smaller bombs, which you can go with. So there's a ton of options for Germany, especially at the mid-tiers, to get this one done. The skeleton hand. The other one is this, which is Battles for France, missions played 5, mission points earned 2,000. So the easiest way of doing this is to go to low tiers to do this, because people spawn more and there's a lot more going on. You have a fantastic 2-7 lineup for France right now. Crusader, Stuart, M4A3105. Some may call this broken as a lineup. I would definitely say so, especially with this 105 Donker as it exists. You also have the 3-7 one with these two vehicles, and then also the M10 or the M4, depending on how you feel. So those are really nice, and also the Chaffee if you have that one. Those are the lineups that I would focus on. Obviously 7-7 is very strong. For the French, 7-3 is also strong, and 8-3 is also very strong for them. But one thing to note about it is the higher you go, the less people spawn. So, you know, therefore you don't get the 2,000. One of the ways that you can do this is obviously go in ground forces and then transition into air forces, get a bunch of score there, and then go back into ground. But you just got to make sure you're finishing ground if you want to do that. Also, it's a little bit harder to do that now since they nerf the amount of score that you get when it comes to planes, but still not impossible. The last one is places 1 to 3 USSR ground vehicles. You have to do 7 missions with this one, and I don't think there's like an overall one either, so you can't kind of get that one done with another one. Instead, oh no, there you go. So if you actually complete this one for the USSR, you also get another emblem on top of it. So it might be worth focusing on the USSR one while doing that. I really like the 4-3 lineup. Stuff like the KV-1, the SU-57, and then also the SU-152 or the SU-85. That's really fun to play. The 4-7 one's good as well. Now they moved down the KV-85, so you have these two, and then the premium T-34-57 as well. If you're looking at just rank 2, I mean the 3-3-3-7 stuff is always fantastic to play for these guys, to be able to get the 1 to 3s. But I feel like if you just generally grind through the tree, wherever you're at, you'll eventually get the 1 to 3s anyway. That's basically how I've been doing them. the most recently. So yeah, you won't just get this one, you'll also get this one. So it might be worth doing that so you can get both decals. The next one is the Cucaracha, which is 2000s for air vehicles of Italy. Now, there is a ton of really good vehicles for aviation for Italy. Pretty much anything in these two lines are incredibly good at dominating matches. I've been respading a lot of these things because they added the EFS to them recently and doing incredibly well in them. So you can easily rack up like 2, 3, 4 kills with these things. Usually to get 2000, you want to get a few kills, and then you want to get a few ground forces hits, and that will kind of carry you over line. The C202 is fantastic. You know, it's one of the really nice balanced planes in the game. The actual guns on it, though, are not the best, but as long as you use the right belts, you'll be able to set fire to a bunch of things. Obviously, stuff like the G56 is insane. It always will be. It's an incredibly good vehicle for what it is. The Reggiani 2005 is way below the BR that it should be. This thing is a monster as well, even after its flight model change. And of course, the SM92 and SM91, which is really good. If you're not as confident in air, you can actually do it in ground and then spawn in an aircraft at the end of it. That will also mean that you get 1 point towards it. So that's one way that you can set it up. Then you have the emblem Tomo, so you just need players defeated 40 with air vehicles of Japan. So in RB, this is 20 air kills, so not too hard, pretty simple. There's a ton of really good planes for Japan. I would probably stay away from the high-tier stuff unless you're playing the F4EJ. All of the other ones right now are not in the best position. Same with these ones as well. I might try and do it in the Key 200, just because I'm trying to spade it out. But they haven't added anything to Japan massively in a while. The J2M2 is still a monster. The Zeros are still monsters, even with all of their BR updates. The A7M2 is an absolute monster. It's a beautifully balanced plane, meaning that it's good at pretty much anything, so that can work incredibly well for you. And then even the M1Ks, even though they're a little bit tubby, they're still very good. And then obviously the J2s as well. You can pick any of these and just get kills in. But since, of course, it's just a general grinding decal, like you don't have to like get 2000s or 1-3s or whatever. You can just play whatever you want and you'll get it done pretty quickly. Then you've got the Red Devil emblem, the same with these guys, so players defeated 40 for Air Vehicle Sweden this time. I'm actually going to use this to grind out the new Finnish tech tree stuff. I mean, I'm already pretty far into it, but, you know, I still have to play the G6, the Erla, and then also the Vampire FB. I've actually been really enjoying the Saab 105 as well, just with the standard guns. It feels very similar to the SK60B, so you can see here did pretty well in this, and then here's the Saab stats as well. So I think in general, you know, just there's a lot of very bright sparks of this tech tree. The J22s are really good, the J21s are really good, the A21s are really good as well. The only ones which aren't good in this tech tree right now are the J29 A29s, and these are pretty rough. I suppose the J32 is not in the greatest space, but it's better than it was. And also the Vampires that are in the tech tree, they're much more designed now for ground than they are for air, I feel like. I mean, they're really good turn fighters, but at the same time, you run out of energy pretty quick. So yeah, I feel like you could just use this as a general grinding one, get into the Finnish stuff. All of the Finnish aircraft are pretty nice. You know, there's none of them which stand out to be bad, apart from maybe this one, but we'll have to see how that goes as we go along. The next one is the emblem of the Destroyer Squadron 9. You need 50,000 damage to naval targets with US vessels rank 2 and above. So there's a ton of different vehicles you can use for this. America has the best destroyers in the game. They're all at either 4.7 or 5.0. So just play these. They're really good. Just keep chucking HE at people. Keep breaking stuff and you'll just mount score and also mount damage over time. If you actually want to kill people, obviously use AP, but you don't have to. I used the Atlanta more recently and just absolutely annihilated people. So I'll probably continue with stuff like the Poland that I need to spade out and the Northampton that we're getting there with. But also with the Coastal, 3.0 is pretty nice for Coastal still. The 5.65, the 59, and also the Thunderbolts, all of these work very well together. So, you can use this to kind of just grind through generally, since, you just have to do damage. And I think it's important to actually grind naval, because then you can do the events in naval, and even if you don't want the vehicles, you can always just sell them, right? And I think that's, important to have. Then you have the players defeated 50 for the PLA. This is the 38th Army Group. This is for China. So 25 kills in realistic ground. Very easy to do. For me, I'm probably just going to continue spading out the ZTZ92, trying to get that one done. Or maybe trying something else in the tech tree while grinding out the AFT and also the Tor and trying to get it done. But yeah, there's a ton of really interesting vehicles in this one. Obviously, China has some really nice lineups. The 5.7 one is really good. The 3.7 one is incredibly good as well. It's got quite a nice 2.7 with the 2 Stuarts that you can bring in. And, a bit of backup either from the Zis or the Chi-Ha. You also have now a pseudo kind of 7.7 lineup with the Type 59, and then also these two if you want to bring them along. But it's probably better you run them at 7.3. 8.0's not great, but it's okay. 8.3 and 8.7 are pretty nice right now. So yeah, there's a ton of lineups for China that you can use. And once again, you only need 25 kills, so it's just a general grinding one. While you're doing all of the other decals, you'll get this one done. Especially if you do the USSR one, so you don't have to worry about that one. And then this one is just another kill one for Britain, so once again another general grinding one. The general decals this time, not too hard. I wouldn't say there's anything that kind of stands out. For me, I'm actually going to use this one to respade a bunch of vehicles. So they added EFS to a ton of stuff, and what that basically means, like I've been respading a lot of the low tier stuff for Britain recently, and as you can see, it's pretty much there. But now with the higher tier stuff, there's a bunch of jets, especially where they've taken away my spading from them. So I'm going to have to respade them all, and I'm not looking forward to these two, or this one, but these two, very fun. The Seahawk should be pretty fun. The Simi I actually like, even though a lot of people don't seem to like it. And then obviously you have the Javelin as well. At 8.3 now, god damn. This thing really has been losing its way, hasn't it? But yeah, so overall, that won't be too hard to do. That should be pretty easy. There's plenty of planes for Britain, which are super good, all the way from rank 2 to all the way from rank 7. So just pick some of the fighters and flash around. They also have some really good arcade lineups to do this with, since they have a lot of stuff around the same BRs. But you can see the decals this time are not that hard. Like a lot of them are just go here, kill that. There's not many you actually have to focus on. You'll just kind of get done while playing other stuff. So yeah, this should be a set which, at least for me, I'd probably do in like maybe 4 or 5 days. The last set were definitely harder than this one, so pretty decent as always. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank Forge, Siegebreak, Carrion Crow, Nicholas Richardson, Elove Goat, Pyman, Winter Scientist, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie, B. Young, and also Sem Arslan, Wilkski, Uncle Bean, Derek R., Bareen, Lafouche, and Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.